Call this meeting of the Smith County Emergency Services District to order at 7 p.m. I do certify we have a quorum present with all 5 commissioners, and all the notices have been posted. And at this time, I'll ask Commissioner Domney to give us a prayer and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flags.
To serve you. Lord, we look to you to guide us throughout this meeting so that everything we do may be pleasing to you, but also, Lord, we look at the season that comes before us, celebrating Christ's birth, and ask that you be with us and all that couldn't be here today throughout this holiday season, through our families. I ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We'll move on to item 4, public comment. We have anybody signed up for public comment?
None at this time.
Okay. None of that. Then we'll move on to item number 5, which is the consent agenda. Receive, discuss, and take any necessary action relating to the following reports. 5.1, approval of minutes, special call meeting December 13th, 2021.
I've reviewed those. Make a motion we accept them as written.
Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen to approve the special call minute. Second by Commissioner Domney. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Motion carries. All right. Board of Commissioners, November 29th minutes. Anybody got any questions about any of those? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Commissioner Domney to approve the board minutes of November 29th. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. 5.2, financial reports, November 2021. Bill, I guess that's going to be your report, I would think.
Commissioners, there's a lot of information in your packet this time. I'm sorry. We have the November financial statements as well as the reissued statements for September of 2021, which was the prior fiscal year, as well as October of 2021. The reason for that is that we had a number of invoices that came in after October the 18th through November the 30th that belonged to the prior fiscal year. So we kind of started a new process this year where we made sure that those invoices got accrued up front rather than during the audit process. That's typically how it's done. So what that meant is that we had to reissue the financial statements because of those reclasses. I have provided y'all with a sheet which is a list of all of the invoices that were accrued back. So what ended up happening is for our September financial statements, we had approximately $19,000 increase in expenses that belonged to that prior fiscal year. So that was the process that we had to follow, and that would be what I would recommend going forward in accruing those expenses up front rather than after the fact. So I know that's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions specifically on this particular item, or? That
I'll make a motion then that we approve the financial reports as submitted for the November 2021
have a motion by Commissioner Domney to approve the November 2021 financials with the November restatement, October restatement, I'm sorry, and the tax distribution report. Have a second by Commissioner Wilson. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item number, are we on 6 now, or we need to, is there something else we need to look at in there? Okay. Okay. Item 6. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action related to the payment of accounts, bills, invoices, payroll requests for reimbursement, requests for other payments, transfer of funds, and amendments. See, everything is pretty well lined out there, unless somebody has a question on any of those expenditures.
I would like one comment. Brush Truck Center, that's repairs to the Chapel Hill engine #1. This is requesting approval after the fact. That is a frontline engine that needed repair. We didn't have a spare available at the time. So Mike actually made the purchase, notified JD and myself, I'm not sure, but we know that it is special occasion, special circumstances, so I appreciate that.
I'll make a motion that we accept or approve the bills for payment.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen and a second by Commissioner Biggers that we pay the bills under item 6.1. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Motion carries. 6.2, district credit card payments. Anybody have any questions on any of those? I looked over them. They seem to be in order with everything we've done.
This is paying UT as well, and they came up with everything, so I think.
Yeah, in that first deal, yeah. This is the credit card payments for,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
I
at
mean,
6.3, excuse me.
yeah, we're on 6.2. Okay.
Make a motion that we approve payment of the district credit cards under 6.2.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner Domney to pay the credit cards under 6.2. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Biggers. Any other discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. 6.3, contract payments. Anybody has any questions on that? They all seem to be in line. It's our health care for our paid staff, appraisal district fees, tax office fees, fiber fees for the Southern Link, Texas Mutual for our workman's comp, Hartford for life insurance.
I'll make a motion to pay those bills as well.
Okay, have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen, we pay those bills under 6.3, second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay. All right. So now we're down to item 7. Yeah, got to get there. These things are so long, and sometimes it's going to discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on budgeted flow testing for districts SCBA. Amount requested $7,000, budgeted amount $7,000, and there's all the quotes.
Okay, so this is our annual flow test for our air packs. We budgeted $7,000. Metro Fire is the low bid on that one. They are the company that we've been using. We're happy with them. So their quote is $6,194.00. So we're seeking the approval to go ahead and proceed with that project.
Hey, JD, why do we you're asking for 7,000, but it's under, do you just need the exact amount, or what was the extra? You might have told me already.
We just went ahead and went for the whole budget amount. You know, if there was any, anything that they didn't foresee, we'd have that basically a contingency in there if we needed it. There shouldn't be anything they don't foresee, so we can do just the exact amount if that's what you guys would rather do.
Would we rather just do the right amount, and then if there's something that he needs to buy, it'll be under the,
It's under the threshold, probably under the threshold anyway, you would proceed with it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So we just go ahead and do it.
Do it.
Is that okay with you?
That's fine with me. I'm good with that.
Then I will make the motion that we accept the Metro Fire bid for the amount of $6,194, even.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen and a second by Commissioner Domney to accept Metro Fire bid in the amount of $6,194. And have any other discussion on it? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item 8, discuss and consider taking necessary action on budget SCBA compressor maintenance and testing, amount requested $24,000, budget amount $24,000. JD, you want to talk on that?
Yes, I did the same thing here, and we can take the same action on this one as well. Again, this is our annual compressor maintenance and our air testing that we have to do for, to meet NFPA requirements. On this one, Metro Fire is not the low bid. They are actually about $500 higher than the low bid, but I would like to go ahead and continue to use Metro Fire. That's who we've been using. It keeps all of our air records with one vendor. It streamlines the process, and we've used the other vendor in the past and had some logistics problems with getting our records. So I would like to acknowledge that even though they're not the low bid, that we go ahead and use them. That amount will actually be $20,890 even.
I think it's worth keeping all our records complete, one supplier. I don't have an issue with
Okay.
using the
Metro Fire? Okay. You make,
motion to approve the Metro Fire.
okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Domney to use Metro Fire at the amount of $20,890, and a second by Commissioner Wilson. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item number 9. Discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on election redistricting. JD, you or whoever's been talking on that, take it.
I think we'll end up tagging.
lead
I
on
think we'll end up
We'll
both going
tag
after
team.
this one,
Yeah.
but go ahead, Bill.
Okay, so in the process of, Chief Smith and I were looking at getting ready for the upcoming election for the district, and one of the things that we learned is that the district is subject to the redistricting that we are seeing across the state. So we've been visiting with the Smith County election officials, and they have, the county as well as the city of Tyler, the ESD number 1, the Tyler Independent School District, have been using a law firm to assist them with this redistricting process. So we were able to get the information from them about the law firm that they're using. The other piece to this is that we have to move very quickly on this. It's something that we need to get started at the early part of January. So I think our recommendation tonight is to used the firm of Bickerstaff, who has been assisting these other entities. And I did provide y'all some information. I'm sorry, once again, there's a lot of information up there. That this was a budget that was put together by the partner in the Bickerstaff law firm that outlines the process that they will need to go through and what we're anticipating that this redistricting process is going to cost us. So right now, they have budgeted approximately $21,000 for this process. Unfortunately, this wasn't something that was budgeted. It was something that kind of caught us off guard. And so we will have to make a notation of moving forward that this was an unanticipated expense.
Hey, educate me, doesn't sound like we have an option, but educate me on why are we doing it exactly?
It's required by the law, Commissioner McKeith, and I apologize. Do you
I got it.
add a little more to that, JD?
I just remember, just like the county commissioners, they have, it's done by population. And if it's a percentage increase with people moving into one district or another one, I think it's
10%.
10%.
I'll bet.
Then you have to realign.
Yeah.
We sure do appreciate this $24,000. I get it now. No, I just, that was out of pure curiosity.
Yes,
I
I
didn't know why they're
understand.
making this.
Yeah. So, something new to me, for sure.
I know that we don't have other quotes to compare to, but we'd have to make the assumption that because all the other entities within Smith County are aligned with a single source, then it's probably in our best interest. We may be able to find somebody, I don't know if we'll be able to find somebody any cheaper because all the work that they're already doing for everybody else is, we hope that we're benefiting from that to some degree. So I'll make the motion that we authorize Chief Smith and to go ahead and engage with Bickerstaff in conducting the redistricting.
Analysis.
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy that we engage Bickerstaff Law Firm to help with our redistricting plans, and a second by Commissioner
Yes.
Biggers, in the amount specified on the invoice here, or on the bid,
Is it a bid?
or
an
is it
estimate?
just a,
It's
what they,
more of an estimate.
As an estimate.
Time. It could come in a little bit less, but I don't anticipate it coming in any more because we asked them to be very cautious in putting that bid.
So the engagement process should be getting a firm quote for
Right.
Can we just say $350 an hour for the amount of time it takes? Because they're estimating 92 and a half hours.
Yeah, because they got it broke down by different ones now, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong, I see what you're saying now.
yeah,
How about we authorize up to the $21,500?
okay.
And
All right.
if it comes back, quote comes back any more than that, then just let us know, we'll deal with it at that time.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to amend your motion?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to authorize the administration to engage with the Bickerstaff in the amount of up to and including $21,500.
Okay. Have an amended motion by Mr. Domdy to engage with Bickerstaff for the amount not to exceed $21,500. And have a second by Commissioner Biggers. Any other discussion? Only question I got, how long do we have to get this done?
They need to start on an early January, and they would like to have it before the candidates file, if I'm remembering correctly. So I know
When's
that's
the
not
fi-
the
when's the
exact
filing?
time frame, but we don't have much
I
time.
think it's January 20th. I believe that's the date that sticks out in my mind that we were talking about. January 20th, we have to try to have this done. What they'll do is they'll take all the data and they'll make some maps, and we can either choose to accept those or they can redraw. But they, he made it sound like it's not an impossible task. We'll be able to make it happen.
They have all
Yeah.
that, so they probably do about 80% of the
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay,
We will have to come back and approve that
yeah, we'll have to come back and approve
Prior to
the
our
district, yeah.
prior to our next meeting.
So we'll probably have to have a special call meeting once they get all the information to JD and them. Item 10, discuss, consider and take any necessary action on transfer of funds from sales tax account to the general fund account for payroll. Bill or JD?
Commissioners, we have provided y'all with a worksheet of what the estimated or the projected expenses for payroll. We started doing that on a quarterly basis. This encompasses the first quarter of the new calendar year of 2022. What we're asking is to be able to transfer $1,167,581 from the sales tax account to the operating account to cover those anticipated payrolls. Anyone have any questions?
Is
or
that covered till the end, how long does that cover? The next quarter or what?
through the end of March
End
of
of March.
2020?
Okay.
I make a motion that we authorize the transfer of $1,167,581 to the main account.
Have a motion.
Operating account.
Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen to transfer the $1 million plus, and I think, did you second it, Charles? And Charles seconded it. Okay, so second by Commissioner Wilson. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Motion carries. All right. Item number 11. If I can get, this thing jumps around whenever you do it. Discuss and consider and take any necessary action on property annexation by the city of White House.
Commissioners, basically, this is already is a done deal. Back in the late September, the city of White House annexed a piece of property. It's a gas station, and Commissioner Brown can probably tell you a little bit more where it's at. But now, at this point in time, what we need to do is a board to bless that annexation. Of course, we will lose the property tax revenue and the sales tax revenue that comes from that station. We'll collect the sales tax revenue through the end of this calendar year. Next year, we'll lose the property tax piece on it. Like I said, basically, it's just a blessing of the annexation. It's just a formal process so that they can contact the comptroller's office that we approved it and also report back to their council.
They just annexed the station.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, basically.
Yeah, it's right there. I think everything else right there is in the city limits. It's right there along Squirrel Road, 346.
He wanted that tax revenue.
Yeah, that's what they wanted, for sure. Yeah.
It's kind of out there.
Yeah, it's about a mile outside of town, but it's in their city limits, so, yeah. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve it or whatever.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen to approve the White House annexation. And second by Commissioner Dommy. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 12, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on Flint Gresham Engine 1 insurance claim and accident repairs for a total of $69,360.38. Chief?
Okay, so we've got the final bill for Flint Engine 1 from the winter storm accident that happened back in January, February. So far from the insurance, we have received $66,543.27. The balance we owe is that $69,360.38. The email that I've received from the body shop says that they have submitted the supplements to the insurance company to get that remaining balance covered. The insurance company pays us, we pay the body shop. So what I'm requesting to do is to go ahead and pay the body shop what we owe them and get that behind us, and then we'll deal with the insurance company and that remaining $3,000. He may know a little more.
Also included on that, which remember I talked to you about, they had to replace the batteries on that engine because it sat for so long and the batteries were depleted. So instead of us going out there to swap the batteries out, they just sold us batteries at cost and didn't charge us any labor to put them on. So it's on the invoice, and it's there for 6 batteries at $120 a battery for a total cost of $720. That will be out of our pocket.
But it's on this. It's included.
It's included in the
It's
invoice.
included in this $69,000? Okay.
This is the normal flow of things, right? We're not worried about the insurance coming up and saying no.
No, it's how we've done it in the past, and we haven't had any issues.
Okay, so effectively, we'll get another $2,200 or something from the insurance company. Yes. They won't be the full $3,000, double $3,000. There's just be a part that's fine.
Oh, okay. So it's not an additional 69.
No.
It's the difference of the two.
Yeah.
Yes, and Mike, thank you for reminding me of the batteries.
No.
Okay.
I make the motion that we go ahead and approve the payment of $69,360.38.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to pay the invoice on the Flint Gresham engine repair of $69,360.38. A second by Commissioner Biggers. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 13, discuss, consider, take any necessary action on approval of parts for non-accident related repairs to Flint Gresham Engine 1 for a cost not to exceed $10,000. And what this was is they put it in the shop and figured out everything that needed to be repaired on it. And then Mike looked at the list and told us what he could repair on it. And the parts came up to right at $10,000. And the engine is back with those parts on it, with the exception of just a few. Is that right, Mike? So he's got the truck here. He's already started working on it, putting those parts on it. We just need to approve that amount of money for the parts.
I've just got a quick question for you. How did $10,000 worth of repairs get here without? How do we not know about all this? If it was an accident, and I'm not beating you up, but if it's not accident related, how did we get?
So some of it is stuff that was going to get caught on the PM of the truck itself. It did not make it to its next PM. So it had some leaking valves that Metro Fire caught that it would have got caught during the pump test. It had some gauges that were low on fluid that again would have got caught during PM. Tie rod ends, shocks, some. And I actually have an email from Metro Fire saying they do not believe any of these things are accident related. By doing it this way, we're going to save. So what we did is we took it from. It went from the body shop to Metro Fire. Metro Fire went bumper to bumper on it, identified anything that they saw wrong with it, all the way down to torn seats. So anything they saw wrong. And what we did is is we took their parts list and we basically used their parts price because that's where the parts are going to come from. And that's where we got the 10,000. It came out to $9,985 and some change to get all of those parts. One of the things that they are recommending is a complete rebuild of the foam system. He has not had a chance to look at the foam system and see if that's what it really needs. But we went ahead and are prepping in case we had to do that. Their labor costs would have added an extra $15,000 to this price, so it would have been $25,000 if we had them do it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine as long as it's stuff that we would have got. I didn't realize it didn't make it to its next PM.
Right.
That's justifiable. It's, yeah, set for a year. I will say that you probably know this, that cab system's been a pain in the butt since when I was pumping it, so, yeah. So you want 10,000, you don't want the
Not to exceed.
9,279, just to not to exceed?
Not to exceed 10,000.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve a cost not to exceed $10,000 to repair Flint Gresham Engine 1 for non-accident related repairs.
Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen. Here a second. Second by Commissioner Wilson to authorize not to exceed $10,000 for the repair of Flint Gresham Engine 1 due to things that were caught before it got to its PM. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say nay. Motion carries.
Can I tag one more thing onto that?
Yes.
Chief Stone and I and Mike, all three had a conference call and went over this, so he's very well aware of what's going on with the truck. So just thought you should know that.
Mike, do you have a general idea of how much of this stuff typically shows up on one of our engines on the annual PM? I guess what I'm trying to estimate is, do we typically see $6,000 worth of repairs on one, or is it?
Not necessarily. This was just kind of a rare occasion where after the accident, Metro Fire wanted to look over it and just make sure there was nothing else really wrong with the truck. And it was, as a dealership inspection, I mean, they would do a 10 times more inspection of the truck than sometimes we could do, because we're trying to get apparatus back on the road. There might be some things that might have got overlooked by us that they wouldn't overlook.
Is that data that we can collect maybe through do we have an average for every frontline engine we spend X dollars per engine?
I think they're starting to listen to that information.
Okay.
Be good for.
Yeah, be good.
But a lot of that stuff we do catch. I mean, when we're greasing the truck, I mean, we're looking at tie rod ends and all that other stuff, and goods are cracked or missing, and we identify it and go through and get fixed.
Sounds good.
And I guess part of the reason I'm asking Mike is that as we move throughout this year, and as we continue to have aging apparatus, we know that looking at next year's budget preparation is what I'm thinking about, is that we have this information for this one. It's a little bit unusual from what we normally do, but if we can start gathering some information around it, then it may help us actually do a better job of forecasting our costs as we go forward. That's the reason I'm asking.
All right. Item 14, discuss, consider, and taking necessary action on Winona Engine 2. Chief Smith?
Okay, so this was a fleet accident. We had a crew responding to a call, and they were going through a mechanical gate, like a welded mechanical gate, and they hit the gate. We're still in the investigative stage, trying to get all the statements, as far as it hadn't all made it to me. But what has made it to me is we're going to have to, not only does the truck have some damage, the property owner's gate has some damage. And the property owner sent me, over the weekend, sent me 2 quotes for the repair to the gate. And one of them is for $4,610.79, and the other one is for $3,999. So what I'm asking is approval to go ahead and file our insurance claim, because we have a $5,000 deductible. So if it all works out right, the the insurance will take care of the gate and the damage to the truck, and it should cost us no more than $5,000.
How much damage is the,
Yeah.
To get it. And see, and that's where I'm trying to figure out, who are we waiting for, the insurance adjuster to come out and look at it, or going to try to get it to a body shop to see if they can, or what the cost estimate would be to fix.
I'm just curious, do we take the hit on our insurance and, I mean, does it go up like normal insurance does?
It-
And if it does, then, because we're right there at the threshold, if it just needs some paint and stickers, then we, but if
No,
it's,
it needs more than paint and stickers.
all right, well, then let's do the insurance claim. How fast were they going when they hit this gate?
I'm not sure, I don't think they were going that fast.
It was a pretty solid gate.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
One of the,
The concrete out of the ground, that the H post was stuck in the ground.
I didn't even know who built that.
I think I have a Barbin fence and a 110 Weldon, and I think Barbin fence built it.
Were they going forward or backing up?
They were going forward.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess I need a motion on whatever action you want to take. Make a motion, Charles? Okay. Motion to what? Fix it? Or file on the insurance? Okay. Have a motion by Commissioner Wilson. We file on the insurance to take care of the gate and repairs to one on the engine too. Have a second by Commissioner Biggers. Any other discussion? Not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay. Item 15, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on uniform purchases for ARP and Chapel Hill volunteer fire departments. You gonna speak on that?
Yes. Okay, so this is a follow-up to our meeting last week. We were able to straighten out Chapel Hill's uniforms, and then also I think during that time ARP asked for some as well. In your book, you'll see that there's a quote for Chapel Hill's uniforms, there's a quote for ARP's uniforms, and then there's also a quote for making more ARP patches, because I think he said they only had 2 left. So basically, if we do the uniforms for both, and then we, just based on pricing, I calculated it up to do, oh, they're not in your books. I emailed those to you today. I'm sorry. I calculated it up. If we order 50 patches, they're $6 a piece, but if we order 200 patches, they're $3 a piece. So I calculated up to do the 200 just because of the better price. So if we do it that way, both uniforms plus those patches would be $3,776.70. If we went back to 50 patches, it would be $300 less. So it'd be $3,476.70.
Now, that what you sent me, is this the regular purchase order that FR Girl gets and what they get names off of? Like the person's name that goes on the uniform and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. I think there may be some on here that are misspelled that we need to make sure that spelling's right before they.
Yeah, we'll make sure the spelling's right. But we do have the final list of everybody.
Okay.
Does that catch us up on volunteer order, or uniform orders?
No.
That's,
Yours were ordered the other day, I believe.
Second set.
we just, like the last meeting, we did Flint and Bullard, we approved for uniforms. Has there been something since?
Special call.
No, at the meeting prior.
Yes, at the special call.
Was it the special call?
Special.
Correction. So that was a week ago, yeah.
To my knowledge, I think that catches us up, to the best of my knowledge.
There's the one for Chapel Hill. That's
Do you need $3,776.70?
I make a motion that we approve purchase of the ARP, Chapel Hill uniforms, as well as the patches for
Have a motion by Commissioner Dominy to order the ARP and Chapel Hill uniforms at a cost of $3,776.70. Do I have a second? Have a second by Commissioner Biggers. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay.
But JD, I would ask that, next time we get ready to purchase some more of them, is do us a quick comparative on what we set up with the budget for the year, for those items and kind of where we stand, make sure that we're not getting encroaching on it, on our budget.
Will do.
Item 16, discuss, consider, and taking necessary action on the fire chiefs presenting and discussing issues of the board of future action. ARP, Commissioner Chief Arnold.
Okay, looking over the report, didn't have anything major to report on this. I mean, all my reports, we had one missing. It's already been done, incomplete. Everything looked good. I did talk with Larry about the way our personnel is listed. It says we have 19 personnel. Active firefighters, we have 14 actually. The difference there is a bunch of people that have retired from us, but we still carry them on our roster because we can call them up and they will respond to the station and help us out. Phil Russell, different ones like that, and my treasurer is also listed on there because she has to have access through the system. So that's kind of a skewed number, but we're down to 14 active firefighters right now. Other than that, we participated in the parade and a few other things. Everything went real nice. Appreciate everybody that came out. Jackson came down, joined us for the parade. They don't have a parade route of their own, so they always come help us out. So that's all I got. Y'all got any questions? I'm sure you do.
I'll save it next year.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you, Mac. All right, board.
Good evening, everybody. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, we had 61 incidents, 13 events. Our roster's sitting at 20. I had I showed 3 one-person responses. 2 of those are the same call. So I had 2. And since we spoke last, I have since disallowed one-man responses in any capacity from my people. So whenever I bring you guys the December numbers, that number should reflect 0. I have 0 incomplete reports and 0 missing, and 218 man hours. We have been looking into some grants recently. We're currently we got in on this year for the FEMA, the Federal Assistance to Firefighters Grant, and we put in for a apparatus that is a tender, and we used the numbers that reflected that were represented by the apparatus committee, that 410. Walker put in for it for me. I can't remember what the liability on our part is if we do get it. I believe it's either 5 or 10. I think it's less than if you get something through the TFS grant. I'm also in for the VFIS grant. They reworked the fitness grant as a bit more of a safety thing with the COVID this year. So I'm using that to try and just get some PPE items and some fall protection stuff. We're looking at 2 private foundation grants, which are should be 100% payout. One is going to be for if we're selected. One is going to be for some DeWalt tools and chargers and batteries, which of course do then go with the hydraulics. So we'll be able to charge at scene and some things like this. And also a hydraulic ram, which will be the same sort, the AMCUS, I believe, that we currently use, so it'll all work together real good.
Mason, I want to interrupt you. On that kind of stuff, does everybody else know about these extra grants out there, and do you all put in for them? Okay, just wanted to make sure, because if they didn't, I wanted them to know about it, but it looks like
It's
everybody is.
a lot of the, like the private foundation grants, the pipeline companies and stuff, they're beginning to kick off. You know, they'll run, they all vary, but they'll run between 1 and 3 grant periods per year, best I can tell. So they'll do one like January to like March-ish, and then pick back up in summer and do another one in fall. So I have that going for me.
Chief, your FEMA grant, your match will be $19,523.81.
Oh, thank you. Quick math.
I was able to pull up that email.
Thank you. Yeah, Judd, he's handling that one for me. He's very good with numbers. Gentlemen, I have a few issues I would like to bring up, and I don't mean to to pick out any individual, because I think that everyone who is a part of our organization is doing their very best. But you know, as the leader of the fire department that represents my community, I feel like I would be remiss to not go ahead and bring these issues to attention. On 12/2 and 12/20, we did not have any paid staff at Bullard. On 12/2, one individual showed up, and we've disallowed, you know, having one person in our stations, and fair enough. So that individual was moved into White House. At that time, I told my volunteers, hey, we don't have any people. I was able to muster 4 immediately to go ahead and staff the rest of the day, and that was at lunchtime on a Thursday, which is when I found out. So it wasn't like, you know, Friday afternoon or something. I mean, folks quit what they were doing, left their jobs to come staff the station. And then today, which Chief Smith has already talked to me about, and he's already on the ball as far as getting this corrected. We had 0 staff all day long, and I wasn't informed until 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which would have obviously been an issue, because if I believe there's paid staff at my station, I'm not going to respond to a call necessarily, so we would have had some unanswered calls for service. We've also had some issues with some service and supplies. I've had 2 extinguishers, one being a water can, and I know I'm getting into the weeds a little bit, but I only mean to kind of illustrate a broader problem. I've had 2 cans, one being a water can that just needs a new gauge put on it, and a CO2 can, extinguisher, rather, sorry, a bit of slang, that have needed service. I've put in requests for them. They've been out for a few months now, still just sitting there. I requested some chainsaw chains, either to have them sharpened or have some new ones, because I have 0 spares on my engine, and the one on my saw is about halfway through used, you know. We did finally get some uniforms, so that's good. That is a step in the right direction, but that's quite a cumbersome process. And then we also have a float pump that went in for service, and during the course of it being tested, I guess the pump portion was burned up, and that hasn't been replaced yet either. And so that's just some kind of issues, I think, of some areas we could maybe.
Float pump off the tanker?
Yeah, the very same.
Yeah, I can understand how that one might have,
Well,
it's got a little age on it.
well, we sent it in, the motor wasn't working very too good, but apparently it got, during the course of being tuned up, the motor part, the pump got ran out of water, which burns
Pump up.
So that's,
As far, I was gonna ask JD, as far as the logistical chainsaw blades, cans being fixed, is that a Trotty thing?
It's all equipment, so yes. And I'm making notes,
Okay.
so I can address this.
Thank you.
well, I appreciate y'all all listening to
Thank you,
my
Mason.
little list
Chief
there.
King, also, if you know of any grants that maybe some of the other chiefs don't know about, just send them an email and let them know too that, you know, it's a public
Sure.
grant or whatever, or a foundation grant.
And I'll tell you, the way I'm finding them is I just get on the fire grants help through fire engineering, which you can sign up and make an account, and then you can search all the grants that are applicable for your area. Now you have to pay to apply through them, But if you just see where they're at and then just go to that company's website, you can just apply directly and it doesn't cost you any money. So pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good deal.
All right.
So you made a statement that you were going to disallow one-person calls in your stations.
Yes, sir.
So,
Or just for my volunteers, I'm not allowing them to go. There's got to be at least 2.
okay, I mean, so aren't there times that when a single-person response is the appropriate response?
Yes,
And
sir.
Are
Like
you
for
actually, are you actually putting handcuffs on them to, delaying a response that could be appropriate?
Yes, sir, absolutely. That is definitely something I did consider. I would, say definitely if you're just going to babysit a power line or something like that, one man, or one person rather, excuse me, acceptable, However, I want to set the standard here. So if we come in a little under, we're still doing quite well. Also, even if we are just going to something we would consider a routine call, well, what if I send one individual out to babysit a power line and maybe he steps on one and he gets fried? Well, now he's laying out there dying and,
You make the argument you catch a structure fire on
Right,
the way back.
exactly.
I just wanted to make sure that we're doing it for the right reason. I mean, we focused on one-person calls for the purpose of understanding how they occur and why they occur,
Yes, sir, absolutely.
not to disallow them. I guess what I want to say is I don't want us to do it for the wrong reason. So
Yes,
if you got your reasons why, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I just want to understand what your thought process.
I'm coming in from a safety standpoint
That's fine.
as well, and I work for a city fire department for my main job, and we don't ever go anywhere by ourselves. There's always at least a crew, So
And your guys know that if they anticipate this being a one-man response, to go ahead and call the next
right,
station out for
Right.
assistance. I mean, if they're not gonna be able to run it, instead of waiting for dispatch to automatically dispatch, there should be jumping the gun.
yes. Well, and
Nobody
that,
else showing up, let's call Flint, White House, noonday.
and basically, I've just set it up as such that there has to be 2 individuals available at any time, at a minimum, of course, to run calls at any time. I just read my call response SOP, but if that were to be the case, then the one individual would go ahead and go get on scene, but then would call for some mutual aid of some kind. Would be how the procedure for that would be handled.
Chapel Hill, Chief Peterson.
I've been looking at my report too as well. I'm saying my guys do real good on my reports, so we're really doing great on those. And we're doing well on a one-man response. Like I said, we're working too is same thing is my officers got together. We're setting up a time to where put 2 guys on during the nighttime, so not everybody has to run it. But like I say, if something major come in, that's off limits. Everybody has to run it at that point. And besides my 2 guys, we're gonna have an officer tag along on top of that as well. So our officer will be taking 1 per night instead of the same guys over and over again. So that's what we're looking at doing ours as well. And then also we had a banquet this year, and I had 2 of my commissioners. I thank you for coming to our banquet we had this year. I awarded my Fireman of the Year, Officer of the Year, and Rookie Year as well. We had a good time there. I think they had a good time as well. We ate good as well. I also piggyback on what Chief from Buller said. I have at times when my station will be a one-man station, and I do not get a call from any officers to tell me I'm on one-man staff. So when I find out, I usually call my volunteers. I do also get my volunteers to come help sit there with that guy during that shift as well. And I have emailed the battalion chief on it, and one of them did ask back. He said they looked at the calendar and said they were supposed to be staff, but then that man looked at this calendar and he was the only one on the calendar at that time. And he said he was going to get back to me to find out what happened, but he never did get back with me on that part. Okay. Other than that, we had one parade. We actually went to the City of Tyler parade as well, so we entered that as well, and that was a good parade there as well. We're done, and that's about it. Unless you have any questions.
y'all doing? Yeah, the personnel shows 15. Actually, we're down to like 10 on our personnel. We did have a bad wreck the other night. I'd like to call David Gerald up here. He wants to kind of talk about that. It was out on 64 West. Car was on fire, and we actually had people stop, and a bystander came over and pulled the guy out before he burned up. I think he went to the hospital also. Go on in there, David.
That was all I was gonna approach the board with as a department member is, we're gonna bring a few names and would like y'all to consider before y'all approve your next agenda, a possibility of, maybe he's trying to see if we can do this gentleman a commendation. He saved this gentleman's life out of no cause, but the kindness of man, doing what he needed to do, showed outstanding bravery to access this guy by breaking the window, cut his hands up, singed the top of his hair, getting him out of the car that was on fire. So very impressed with his actions, very humble gentleman, but I would like to get with y'all I'll get with Chief Smith, bring it to everybody and let him present it to y'all, but I'd like y'all to at least have it on your minds for consideration to maybe invite him to the next board meeting possibly. That's all. Thank you.
Still looking at brush truck. I did get approached by the apparatus committee, so I'm going to go and combine the efforts with them about building a brush truck for this grant. I think that's the wise thing to do, is kind of get them involved. And I appreciate the maintenance, putting batteries on our tanker, getting it up. I don't know if they mentioned to you about brush one, kind of running funny the other night on that wreck. Okay. It's kind of doing the same thing it did before. But other than that, everything's going good. Thank y'all.
Good evening. For Flint, probably the biggest things are Flint Engine 1 is back in the county again. Hopefully in the not too distant future we'll see that back in service. Flint Attack 2 is back at the station. Still being worked on. We've submitted a request to Captain Trotty for equipment for it since it was sitting out on the lot for, what, a year and a half. A lot of the equipment that was on there got so weather beaten and destroyed by the sun that we're going to have to replace most of the hoses and a lot of the hand tools and things. So hopefully Captain Trotty can work on getting us that equipment so we can get that truck back in service. From that report, the one-person response that's on there, the only one, we were at a structure fire in Dixie, and Dixie dropped a medical call that I responded to for them from that structure fire. It was just a matter of all the other units were engaged on a structure fire. So, any questions about any of that? On Attack 2, it was just, so the 1 3/4 that was on top, the cross lay. Well, Engine 1 had a tarp, but I don't know what condition it was stored in when it was at the body shop. I have no idea about that. Attack 2. Yeah, it was sitting at fleet maintenance for a year and a half, and yeah, just yeah. So we're doing a lot of cleanup on that, trying to get the rust cleaned off of it and just clean it up. But hopefully that'll be back in service pretty soon once we get the equipment that we need for it. I guess the other thing that I'll mention is, so we did have our Christmas party and awards banquet last Friday, and congratulations to Lieutenant Smurl for winning the Flint Gresham Officer of the Year, firefighter Casey McClendon for winning we created a new Career Firefighter of the Year award because we had the volunteer one, but we wanted to make sure that the career guys were also being recognized. Firefighter of the Year for us was Tom Dademeyer, and our Rookie of the Year was Ronnie Seymour, who's actually a employee of the ESD now. So So congratulations to all 4 of those gentlemen. That's all I got, unless you got any other questions.
Okay, thank you. Jackson Heights, Chief Thompson.
Good evening. Since I'm new, I guess I'll take this time to introduce myself. My name is Terrence Thompson, and I was appointed the fire chief December 5th. So I'm not first in the report. We did participate in 2 events that I know of. It's going to be the Orange Christmas Parade and the Chapel Hill football send-off. Since my appointment, we have lost personnel. We are down to 8 personnel. My station has been staffed since then. The staffing has been great. We have saved structures that should not have been saved, but, could not have been saved, but thanks to the staffing that were there, all those structures were saved. We've had 2 recruits since my appointment, and that information has been turned in. Report shows that I have 7 missing reports, but I checked that earlier and I have 2. I have 2 that have been turned in, yes, sir. They did not have any certifications.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I think Chief Harper's probably working.
He's on shift. He contacted me earlier.
Okay. Did he have anything he needed to report?
He did not tell me that there was anything that he needed passed on.
Okay. Red Springs? Nobody here from Red Springs? Okay. Troop? No. Looks like you get to go next, Gene. Chief Champion from White House.
Everything's been running pretty good at White House, except for on our report, our biggest thing is that we've got up there is one-person responses. I want to throw this out for the board and just let you put it in the back of your mind. A lot of those one-person responses have been myself. It's been medical calls, and it's getting pretty aggravated, and our group is getting a little bit frustrated with it that we run a medical call. And we get there and just, I can guarantee you in the last 2 weeks, I've had 4 that I get there and the first thing the ambulance crews told me said, if I'd known you coming, I'd have canceled you. Since you're here, can you carry my monitor back to the truck for me? We got the patient. We're not going to help them to carry their equipment back to their truck. You know, we're going to help them with everything. If you get where I'm coming from. So I think some of my guys are getting frustrated the same way with that. So they're not even, they're backing off of running a lot of the medical calls for that reason. Once before UT took over from ETMC, we got with ETMC and started a deal with them that when the ambulance crew got on the scene, if it was a priority, unless it was priority from the get-go, if the ambulance crew needed us when they got on the scene, they had their dispatch call us then. Because 9 times out of 10, if they do actually need us and they need us to get there, they're going to be there on the scene working that patient for a while before they ever load and go. And we might ought to look at, after the first year, maybe getting back into that with them again.
Gene, it seems like we have to remind them every 6 months or so that there was a time I remember we were doing cardiac arrests, major traumas, and maybe lift assist if we needed to. But is that something that we veered away from on purpose, or did it just?
I think there's a naturally occurring veer away sometimes over time, but I also yes, they're fighting staffing issues. I'll reach out again to them and talk to them about if they want us to continue running as much as we are, they need to communicate better with us. So I'll have that conversation with them again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jared, if you want to, do you want to say something?
I was just gonna tell y'all what we've been running into actually out on the field, is when we arrive on the scene, the patients are actually saying that their symptoms are worse than what they actually are. That way they get.
They're the smart ones. Yeah, we get those too.
Frequent
See,
flyer.
just like, yeah, we've got, Larry vouched for this, we've got two on the same county road out west of White House. One of them is at least once a week, maybe twice a week occurrence. The other one is at least minimum every other week, Larry, on her. That it's just, it's their taxi cab to get to Tyler. Is
Yeah,
what they're using.
we need to get
Yeah.
some abuse of the 911 system or something
Yeah,
going.
Chief Smith, I think I would get John Smith or and Tony both down there and talk to them, probably with Corey in there with you too, and tell them, this ain't gonna fly. They need to be doing better, you know? I mean, we don't mind helping with the medical calls. That's what we're here for, but just make sure
Exactly.
we're getting used the right way, you know?
I'll reach out to them, and we'll see if we can get back to where we're comfortable again.
That'll work. Thank you. That all you got, Gene?
Other than that, everything's been good.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Fish back.
You wanna know if the fish are biting?
Hadn't been. I've been cutting up too many deer right now. Hadn't been able to go.
Yeah, they had a structure fire right before we started the meeting. He has not told me anything.
Sir,
You got anything you'd like to say?
as far as,
Anything?
oh, association or
No,
what?
whatever.
Oh,
I'll
no,
give-
uh,
Does it? Well, never mind, David, you're not on the agenda, so I can't let you speak. I can't let you speak. Yeah, okay, not a problem. We'll put you on there next time. We'll put you on there next time. My bad. All right. We don't want to leave you out. Training division report.
Okay, I assume that you all have the report there before you that shows our contact hours and everything we've had going on during the month of December. December is a little bit of a lax month in that everybody's having their Christmas parties and those kinds of things. We don't schedule a whole lot with the VFDs during this month. We have continued our Saws and Jaws Jenga with our paid staff, which is basically an overview of our chainsaws and some of our rotary saws. Just minor stuff on that, and then we play Jenga. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but we play Jenga with cribbing and the hydraulic tools. So the guys use the tools to actually play the game, and it's just for familiarization and kind of some repetition. We did the physical ability test for over 65 candidates up at Lindell, and we offered that on 3 different dates in order to meet flexible schedules and things. We administered the written examination to 64 candidates and made those notifications. We arranged for a panel interview for 43 candidates there at Flint, and we had a 7-person panel along with Ms. Sherry that conducted those interviews and generated a hiring list. I'm proud to say that those job offers were made today by Chief Smith and Ms. Sherry, so we'll be onboarding some new folks. We also had the Texas Commission on Fire Protection inspection where they come in and audit several things, but one of which is our training records. And we did a fantastic job on that, generating everything they needed to fulfill that obligation for our career firefighters. We had several that have attended online and in-person commission courses ever since we generated that policy, facilitating a path for our folks to get Fire Officer 1, Fire Officer 2, you know, on up through the ranks there. We've had a huge amount of participation, and we have a lot of folks that have really increased their credentials during that period of time, so I'm pretty proud to see that. We also went out and helped with the search. We supported IMT on that. I believe the missing lady out in the Noonday District. We moved our captains to White House. The training captains are moved from ARC to White House now. Part of our intent was to sort of help with some of that medical response at night and to have them in a better position to actually serve in the capacity that we're asking them to serve in. So that's worked out pretty good. They are there by themselves at night, but so far nobody's gotten them. Everything's okay. Training events, we've had 3 during this period of time. We've had 26 hours of direct delivery, 10 hours program development, over 200 hours of online delivery through Target Solutions, 52 contacts with career folks, 24 with volunteer, total interactions 76. Any questions?
Did they ever find that woman?
You know, I don't know the answer to that.
No, they haven't. No.
Not that I know of. Any other?
Nope. Thank you, Chief. Ms. Sherry, Human Resources report.
Well, pretty much Chief Clanton said what was going on with the hiring, so I don't need to repeat that. That's okay.
All right. Well, I just want to tell you thank you for all the hard work you've been doing and the stuff that you've been straightening out. And she's been working long, hard hours doing it.
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
That was a lot of interviews, it sounds like. So
well,
It was a marathon.
the B season captains were plenty, so that was a lot there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Larry, Chief Information Officer report.
Well, we also supported the search for 2 missing people with the command platform deployed both times. So we had 2 command platform deployments during that time frame. And then as far as the point-to-point projects go, Dixie Station 1, Sunlink's laid the fiber in. We're waiting for them to come do the splicing. The tower at Dixie Station 2 and at Red Spring Station 1, the foundations are complete. They should start constructing the actual towers this week. Chapel Hill, most of the parts have come in, so the climbing crew went out and did the climbing portion of the tower. We're still waiting on 2 polyphasers to actually complete that tower project. And I don't have an ETA on when those are going to be in at this time due to supply chain. It's grounding equipment. Other than that, that's really all I have. We did complete, we closed out, I believe, 3 projects. Those are listed on the report, so you can see we came in under budget on 2 and on budget on the 3rd.
Let me ask you a question on the missing info. Do we have enough to publish it? And then we need to cover all the ones that haven't?
The website is published. It is published and live.
That page and everything?
That page is there. We just don't have the information within the page.
Yeah, so if you'll look at our webpage, we got districts out there that don't have anything other than the address.
Yep.
And I'd encourage all you district chiefs to go back and look at the webpage and see if it looks like what you'd be proud to see, if somebody were trying to pull you up.
That's all I have unless you have any questions. No, Chapel Hill's who we're waiting on the polyphasers for.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Chief Operations report. Chief Smith.
Okay, evidently, we didn't get Mike on this list. Mike, is there anything under my section that you want to talk to them about, that you want to update them on?
No, I think we pretty much touched base on a lot of stuff. Flint Engine 1 being back in the county. We have today, as of today, we've probably completed about 70 to 80% of what needed to be done on that truck. So hopefully by the end of this week, we should have that truck back in service. So other than that, we're working as hard as we can with the couple guys we have in the shop, trying to get everything done we can get done.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so under my section, I have given you the information that I give you every month, not only with the incident categories, but also the countywide personnel participation summary that I started adding last month. That Smith County ESD2 closed letter is our official signed letter from the commission that says that we had no violations. So that has gone in a file at the office. I want to thank all the chiefs and everybody in the organization that plays a part in making sure that stuff happens, from checking the air packs out to logging the fields, doing all the things that we do day in and day out. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for that stuff. They're looking for air pack checks, gear checks, training hours, all the things that actually take place out in the field aside from the calls. It's not necessarily something we're doing in the office. It is everything that everybody in the field is doing. So big congratulations to everybody for that. We're currently finishing the hiring process. At some point here very soon, we will announce for a lieutenant and a driver's test. Flint Engine 1 has returned. I think we've talked about that. And the last information I got is that it tracks and drives straight. So we're good there. Bill and I are currently working with the elections department and on the Jamestown property projects, as we've talked about. I met with Chief Yakeley at Lindale to look at where they're potentially going to build their station up in the northwest. So I'll have that information whenever we really start diving into that. I'll reach out to the EMS for that communication again. Talking about the missing person, unless I haven't been told something, all the feedback I've received from everybody about how that went said it went well. And that had a GSAR component, a dive team component, an incident management team component, the sheriff's office, us, Red Cross. It was many agencies working together over about 2.5 days to try to find this lady. My understanding is they still have not found her. And last but not least, I want to thank Sherry for all her hard work over the past couple weeks, learning and doing all the great things that she does. If you guys need anything from her, she'll get you handled. Do you have any questions for me? Out of the two missing people, we found the first one. It was the second one that was all over the news that they were unable to locate her.
I'm going to ask you to go ahead and speak on something you told me earlier today about talking to some of the applicants and the reason they want to come to Smith County ESD2.
Okay, so several of us sitting up here know that we had, 78, 80 applicants for our hiring for a firefighter. From what I understand, that's a pretty big number compared to what's going on right now. So we had 78 to 80 applicants. Our name is out there. This organization's name is out there, and the things that we're doing. We had a guy who lives in Fort Knox, Kentucky, apply. He made it to the final, and he will be coming down here. We have another individual that I didn't find out till later this afternoon. He's originally from Arizona. He applied. We are getting folks from all over testing to come to work here, and that is a testament to everything that we've built and done in the last 5 or 10 years. So we are getting good candidates. We are getting, our interview panel has. I mean, that was a lot of time they spent in there, and I wasn't in the room, but our name is out there. People see the things we do, and they want to be a part of it. So for everybody, I want to say thank you. For everybody that plays a part in making that happen, thank you.
call the open session back to order at 9:39 PM. And item 23 is discuss, consider taking necessary action on personnel and employment for Smith County ESD number 2.
I make a motion that we approve the list as it's been presented. We're on the, yes, list as it's been presented.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner McKeithen and a second by Commissioner Wilson that we approve the list of people that were offered jobs to ratify that. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Item 24, discuss and consider taking necessary action on Smith County ESD 2 org chart.
Make a motion to table.
Okay, have a motion and a second to table item number 23. Any other discussion? Or 24, I'm sorry. If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, motion carries. 25, discuss, consider, and take any necessary action on potential land purchase in the Jamestown area.
No action there.
I don't think there's any action to be taken, but we are going to continue to look for some land up there, and Commissioner Wilson's going to make some contacts and get, and Bill and JD. So no action to be taken on that. Presiding remarks by any of the board officers. Anybody have anything they want to say before we adjourn?
Well, I'll just address the rest of you out there and continue to thank you for everything that you do for the organization. And you heard JD talk about earlier, people that want to come to work for us and be part of this organization. It all goes back to not only you that are sitting in the room, but all the other people that are associated with the organization. And you're part of your leadership and everything that makes it the place it is. And we come up to the end of this year and into the holiday season, no other time better to express our appreciation for everything you do out there, other than at this point in time. Hope you all have a great time with friends and family and safe. But please go back and make sure, whether you be a career staff or volunteer staff, irregardless, I mean, it is the organization is what we're really talking about, and that's something that y'all built over the years, and something that I'm proud to be a part of. So I want to thank you as much as wish everybody well wishes through the holiday season.
Absolutely. Yep.
I want to echo his deal.
And I'd like to add that to that too. You guys just, it's a tough job. We've all done it. We've all been there. We've all spent time away from friends and family on holidays, and when you do that, just know you are appreciated. You do know, I do know the sacrifices you make, and a lot of other people up here do too. So the big thing is just stay safe, have a Merry Christmas, have a good Christmas with your families, and take care of one another. And may God bless you all.
Although I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and your families do well, I heard Mac particularly at the motion to table, and I want y'all to understand something. I hope that y'all have as much pride in this organization as the five of us up here that can't come to a decision, because we all have so much hope that this organization goes in such a good direction, and we're trying to make it perfect, and we want everyone here to have as much pride and ownership in this thing as we do. We truly are trying. I know I understand the perception of it. We will get there, but continue to bear with us and take care of this place like you all own it. And so and have a Merry Christmas.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned at 9:45.